Demand forecasting. It is a process in which we are trying to forecast what will be the future sales for a particular product. How we are going to predict? By analyzing the past data. Why we are doing? For the purpose of making a effective decision in the business. So it's a very easy concept. It is a process of predicting the future sales of a product based on the past data and information for the purpose of making an effective decision in the management. We should understand one thing. This particular process, it starts from planning stage. That is, when we start a business, we are going to produce a particular product. Means at that planning stage, the demand forecasting will start. How much I have to produce till the delivery of the finished goods. Last action of a business is the delivery of the finished product. So this particular demand forecasting is starting right from the planning stage, and it will continue till the delivery of the finished goods. So we may say the demand forecasting is an integral part of a business. Why we have to do this? Because future is uncertain and it has what to say, so a very high risk that we are undergoing. Every manager has to take some decision in a business. So the demand forecasting will be the right tool for him to take a decision in the business. How we are going to complete this particular aspect? We are covering three topics. One is definition, the second one is types, third one is objectives. After knowing this, then we will go for the methods of demand forecasting. There are many definitions are there. Here I have given only two definitions, one by Evan J. Douglas and another one by Cunliffe and Still. So these two definitions I have given. So there is a possibility of section 8% define demand forecasting and what are the types. So by the time, first you have to write these two definitions and then go for that. According to Douglas, it's a very easy definition. Demand estimation may be, it is not me, it is may be defined as a process of finding the values of demand in the future period. It's very simple definition. The second one given by Cunliffe and Still, what they said, demand forecasting is an estimate of sales during a specified period. That means already we decided this is the period, future period that I want to know what may be the demand based on the proposed market plan. We may conduct a market survey or we can try to collect some information about the market. And we also consider a set of particular uncontrollable and competitive forces. That's why they said demand forecasting is an estimate of sales during the specified period, future period, based on the proposed market plan and a set of particular uncontrollable and competitive forces. So these two definitions given by the author, so you cannot change the words. You should write as it is. Now let us move to the types. Actually, the demand forecasting is divided into four different categories. So see this hierarchy. So I have given this particular flow chart. The demand forecasting is of many types by considering two factors. What are the factors? It is time perspective is one of the factor, and level of business, and what type of action the manager is taking, and finally the purpose. So based on uh, these four factors that we are classifying the demand forecasting. First, we'll consider the time factor. Based on the time factor, we are dividing this demand forecasting into two types. One is short-term demand forecasting and long-term demand forecasting. We may expect a Section 8 question, what are the objectives of demand forecasting? In that, you have to write what are the short-term demand forecasting objectives and what are the long-term demand forecasting objectives. Sometimes how short-term demand forecasting differs from long-term demand forecasting, they may ask. So by the time you should write the objective and you should write the similarities and difference between these two. That will do. In this class, we can discuss about that. So based on the time factor, there are two different types: short-term demand forecasting and long-term. Suppose based on the level of business, if you classify the demand forecasting is classified into three categories. One is it is at a firm level. Suppose ABC company is there. What is the demand for their product if they forecast? Then it is called firm level demand forecasting. Instead, in that area, suppose for Tirunelveli district, there is a sugar factory. So what is the demand for the sugar for the Tirunelveli district? Then it is not firm level, it is the industry level. The sugar industry's demand in particular region. So it is a industry level. What is macro level? Suppose if you want to know about the emerging and changing trend of sugar industry in Tamil Nadu state or in India, then it is not neither it is not firm level, not industry level, it is macro level. So based on the business level, the demand forecasting is classified into three categories. One is firm level demand forecasting, industrial demand forecasting, and macro level demand forecasting. Apart from these two, how the manager is behaving. Some people will be defensive, some people will be aggressive. So based on this particular type of action, the demand forecasting is divided into two categories. One is passive action and active action. That is, based on the competitive price, he start playing and he's just knowing what would be the based on the existing demand already in the marketing conditions. It is a passive. Suppose he's creating a demand for that particular product, he's spending more money on advertising and other things. Then definitely it is not a passive one; it is active. So demand forecasting based on the number of business indicators that decides. You consider more number, then it is active. Suppose if you decide let it be roughly I'm doing, then it is passive. Or somebody else is saying produce this much with the expert, and you consult that expert how much I have to produce in this market, and you are paying the honorarium to him, then it is not an active action, it is a passive action. Apart from these three, the last classification is based on the purpose. Normally, demand forecasting for sales or purchase or raw materials or what will be the delivery or distribution part. For this, if you do, it is a general one. Suppose the demand forecasting for a specific project or a process or particular task, then it is not general demand forecasting, it is a specific demand forecasting. So the demand forecasting is classified into these 9 types based on 4 different factors: time, perspective, level of action, and purpose. So once you understand these are the different types, now let's move to what are the objectives of a demand forecasting. Whenever we say objective, we have to classify the demand forecasting into 2 categories: short-term demand forecasting and long-term demand forecasting. The short-term demand forecasting, just what are the objectives of short-term and what are the objectives of a long-term. So suppose if you plan about the production schedule or if you frame the production policy, then it is formulation of production policy. Excuse me. இப்போ பெருக வேணாமா? So what are the objective of a short term is formulating the production policy. Suppose you are fixing a price you frame a pricing method or a strategy, it is a short-term objective. How much I have to fix the price? For that, you can give a forecast. That is the short term. Suppose anything related with the purchase or sales, then it is a short term. What will be the sales in the next week? How much I have to purchase for this particular month? These are all the short term objective of a demand forecasting. Suppose if you are arranging for a working capital, how much I have to keep in my hand? What are the thing about who overall to be benefited this week? That is to whom, which client I have to pay. Based on that, if you make some rough calculation, that is arranging for a working capital, the short term demand forecasting. So these are all the short term side. Suppose more than 1 year means it is a long term. For example, suppose you want to expand your production. For that, you have to consider the production capacity. This year, 60,000 units have been produced. Next year, I want to produce 1 lakh units. So you have to increase the production capacity. While you are expanding the production capacity, it is not a short-term thing, it's a long-term, because the preparatory work as well as the consequences of that particular action is lengthy. So while you are expanding the production capacity means you have to conduct one long-term demand forecast. Then anything related with human resources, technically we used to call it as manpower planning. When you are doing a manpower planning, or you are going to recruit, or you are going to change the hierarchy management, then this is a long-term demand. You have to find the demand. What will be the demand for the next 5 years? How, whether I have to appoint, whether he is beneficial, what is his compensation? For that, you have to. Anything related with the policy matters, definitely management will should conduct a long-term demand forecast. What will be the position in the next 5 years? What will be the position in the next 10 years? So this is a long-term one. And more than 1 year, any activity if you are taking, then if you are forecasting, that is long-term demand forecast. Sometimes they may not ask the objective. They will ask, what is the difference between short-term and long-term demand forecasting? By the time, what you have to do first, you have to write the objective, and then you have to write the difference. Once you complete the objective, you extend the answer, and you draw the one more flowchart. When you say what are the features of short-term demand forecasting or what are the features of long-term, that will do. When you make any 11th hour decision, any some ad hoc decision for temporary basis, then it is a short-term demand forecasting. When you prepare a production schedule or constructing a production function, then it is a short term. Anything related with the purchase or sales, it is a short term only. Pricing policy, pricing strategy, pricing method, all these things coming under short term demand forecasting. Likewise, arranging for working capital is a short term. So these are all the features, this is the nature of short term. And same thing if you take in the long term, definitely that is not there. We are not taking any adult decision in the long term. We will aim some scientific and strategic decision. Major decision will be taken in the long term. Suppose temporary or very short term decision, it is not coming under the long term. And when you start a new unit or if you expand your business, then it is not a short term, it is a long term. Anything more than a year is long term. So whatever the things you want to include, you can. So sometimes they may ask the objective. By the time you have to write short-term objective 4 or 5, a long-term objective 4 or 5. Suppose if they ask differentiate this, then first you write objective and then continue with the nature of short-term and the long-term. Okay. Why we are classified this? In order to take an effective decision in the business. Now let us move to the next level. How to conduct the demand forecasting process. So there will be some stages. So there are 6 to 7 stages I have given, and these stages maybe I'm just seeing only telling the heading, and it is easy to understand for that. Suppose you want to conduct a particular demand forecasting for a product, the foremost thing that you have to do first is to identify what type of demand forecasting I should conduct. So once it is decided, then you set the objective. While setting the objective, you should consider whether it's short term or long. So the very first stage of a demand forecasting is to identify the objective and specify the objective. And in that, the type of demand forecasting will be useful, whether it is a short term or long term, whether it is for the firm level or industrial or macro level, whether it is general or specific, all these things will be analyzed in this particular stage. After that, once it is decided, suppose it is a long term, that long term you should specify the time, whether it is for 2 years, whether it is for 4 years, or for 10 years. So you should specify the term. Short term means it's easy, that one being a particular thing. So short term means what is the total number of days or months. Long term means total number of years that you have. So the short term, you have to keep most of the variable constant, only active variable should be variable. The other thing you should keep as a fixed. In long term, almost all the determinants will be variable. So in the second stage, you should finalize that. In the third stage, then you have to select the method. That method may be survey method or statistical method that we will discuss after this particular thing. There are two different methods. One is called survey method, another one is called statistical. Survey method is qualitative, statistical method is quantitative. It has a different framework. So there, what we are consider, whether the informations are available, how much cost I will incur, which method will be suitable. All these things will be decided in this third stage. Once it is decided, then you have to collect the data about that particular product. You have to conduct a market survey. You have to meet your consumer, and you should decide what type of thing that either it may be primary data or it may be secondary data. Primary data means one to one. You are creating a new data. Second data already it is collected that you are using. So once it is collected, you have to find out whether the feasibility of data, the consistency, that what is it, genuinity of the data. Then you have to manipulate which is needed, which is not needed. Sometimes we may be in a position to adjust the data. So all these things will take place in this fourth stage. Finally, using considering the objective collection of data, we have to estimate and we have to prepare demand forecasting report. That report should be interpreted with the specified result. That is this much you have to quantify. So these are the 5 stages of demand forecasting. In the third stage, that is called selection of methods. So once you don't know what are the methods available, then it is difficult to complete the process. So the next chapter that what we are going to discuss is the methods. There I said it is survey method and statistical method. So let us see the methods of demand forecasting. There are two different methods. All the demand forecasting method are classified under these two categories. So there are two methods. One is called survey method, another one is statistical method. In that survey method, it is further classified into two categories. One is consumer survey method and another one is opinion poll method. Suppose the total population of your product in a particular, say 1,000 is only, then you have to visit all 1,000 customers and you can complete the collection of data. That is called complete enumeration method. Suppose it is more than 10,000 or it may be 1 lakh, then it is not possible to visit each and everyone. It's not possible to collect information. So what we have to do, we have to go for the sample survey. For out of 10,000, you may collect 500 samples. Third one is test marketing method. Already you produce the product, you can supply some sample to the thing and you test what is the satisfaction of the consumer. That's the third method. The last one is the end use method. Who is going to use that particular product? What is his reaction? And how you are going to respond? It may be a sample or it may be a complete sample. So these are the 4 different methods available on consumer survey method, which is the part of a survey method. The second thing is opinion poll. Instead of collecting the data, we can consult the expert or the person who is more knowledgeable in that field. We can ask. either by sales representative or sales executive, sales force, we can get opinion from them, or we can discuss with the consultant of that particular field, and we can decide what will be the demand. So these are the 6 methods available in survey method under 2 categories: consumer survey method and opinion poll method. So this is a qualitative method. There is the other side, it is called statistical method, it is quantitative. So there are many methods. In this, I have mentioned only three: trend projection method, barometric method, and regression method. Trend projection method, based on the few years data, we are projecting what will be the, suppose from 2015 to 2020, you have the sales value. You can easily project what will be 2021, what will be 2022. That value that we can use using the trend projection. In the trend projection, we have 6 different methods. One is graphical method. You can draw and you can extend the line that will be. The second one is least square method. Here there are three types: straight line method, parabolic method, logarithmic method. People may ask a case study in this particular only. They will give the sales value and ask them, ask you to apply this least square method. Next class, we will have one case study related with this least square. Apart from that, there are 2, 3 methods: time series method, moving average method, explanation method, demo method. So these are all some methods. It is econometrics. It is available. Next class, we will have a case study in this particular. If possible, time permits, I can complete in this class itself. I will try to complete within this. Otherwise, we will have in the next class. The one more method is barometric. That is, there will be a list of factors which may influence the demand. There are active indicators will be there. Some moderate influence will be there. Some it's not disturbed. So we are categorized into ABC. Here instead of ABC, we are saying leading indicators, coincident indicators, and lagging indicators. So, for example, for a demand means a price, competitive product, income of style, technology. So these are the many factors. Here, price may be a leading indicator. Income and technology may be a moderate indicator, but wealth of consumer may not be. So that is a lagging indicator. So based on the list of factors which is influence the product, we are categorizing into these things. The last one is regression method. Here we are having 3 different type of regression. One is linear one, another one is non-linear. The third one, multiple regression. At a time, 3, 4 variables will influence the demand. So these are all the methods that we have. Now let's have a case study. I am sharing a new slide. Is it visible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Ah, so in 2018, this question was asked in your question paper. The following table depicts the values of sales for last 5 years, 2014, 15, 16, 17. And they are asked you to project for 2021. So here the years are given and sales value is given. And they are asking you project the value for year 2021 using trend projection estimates. Here we are going to use the least square method. Least square method means there will be two equations that you should remember. You have to mug up. Those who are non-math students may find difficult, but still, if you remember these two equations, definitely, I will show the equation. Summation y equal to n into a plus b into summation x. That is the first equation. The second equation is summation xy equal to a into summation x plus b into summation x square. So these two equations is this square equation. Simultaneously, we can solve this with a simultaneous equation. So those equation 1 and 2 you remember, you have to mug up. No other way. Here there are 4 or 5 variables. Summation y is the sales. Here n is the number of years that we have the data. A is a independent variable, and summation x we have to calculate. Summation xy we have to calculate, and summation x square we have to calculate. So these three only we have to calculate. The rest of the thing is available. What is y? It is sales. What is x? The number of years. We are keeping the first year as a base year, 2014 as a base year, it is 1. From the next year, put 2, 3, 4, 5. For example, 14 is the first year, 15 is the second year. So weightage is given in a arithmetic way. 2016 is the third year, 2014 is the fourth year. So likewise, summation X will be calculated. What are the other two that we have to calculate? One is the x square. In the C, the second equation, xy and x square we don't have. X value we have extracted from the year. How to get summation X? You add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 15. Summation X is over. Now coming to the second equation, summation X, Y and summation X square. First we will calculate the X square. X is we are having X square. Just get the square of it. 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9. Likewise, X square is calculated. Then what is XY? Sales value is the Y value. And base year is 2014, weightage is given. Third column is the X value. So multiply the second column with the third column, you can get the XY. 45 into 1 is 45. 52 into 2 is 104. Likewise, you complete it. When you add these, then we can get the summation of it. Okay. So you can see summation Y, it is 260 total sales value. You are adding 45 plus 52 plus 48 plus 58 plus 60, 260. Then summation X is 50. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay. X square, you add that particular square value, it is coming 55. And XY is, when you add the multiplier value of second column, third column, it will be 830. You just apply these values, summation Y, summation X, summation X square, and summation in this equation 1 and 2, we can get 3 and 4 equation. 260 equal to 5A plus 15B. Why? 260 is summation 5. N is 5. And summation X is 15. So 260 equal to 5A plus 15B. In the second equation also we can apply. It is 813 equal to, here summation X is 15, 15A plus 45B. Okay. So when we solve this, multiply the third equation into 3, we can get 780 plus 15A plus 45. Why we are doing? In order to cancel the A value. 15A, 15A is there. So that is why we are multiplying the third equation with the 3. So the value will be 780 equal to 15A plus 45B. Now we subtract the second fifth equation from the fourth equation. We can get 813 minus 780 is 33. 15A, 15A get cancelled. And 55 minus 45 is 10. So the B value will be, the B value will be 33 by 10 equal to 3.3. Substitute this B equal to 3.3 in any one of the equation. I have substituted in the third equation. Then we got A equal to 42.1. Now A is 42.1, B is 3.3. Substitute that value in equation 1. Summation Y equal to NA into B. For each year, we can estimate the value. For 2014, 42.1 plus 3.3 into 1. For the second year, 42.1, 3.3 into 2. So what is the value for 2021? It will be, for 14 is 1, 15 is 2. Likewise, for 21, it is 8. So value 8 will be substituted as a summation xy. So 42.1 plus 3.3 into 8, 68.5. 68.5 thousand will be the sales value for the year 2021. So in the CA, I will ask this case study with the different values. And in university examination, this particular case study is possible. So they will give 5 years value. You have to project the next 1 or 2 years. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. But I will share this particular PPT on the link. You can go through twice or thrice and you can understand better.
Sir, can you please go to the third slide, sir?
This one?
I thought, yes, sir. Sir, you're subtracting 15A in fifth equation, 15A, how it is, sir?
That is, we are substituting the values of A and B in equation 1 and 2, we got 3 and 4. Okay. In the 50
Okay.
equation, we are multiplying 3 with the third equation in order to equalize the A value. 260 into
Okay.
3A is 780. 5A into 3, 15A. 15B into 3, 45B. So, in order to equalize the 15A, that's this one. Now we are subtracting the 50 equation from the 40 equation. We can get this equation.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
May God bless you. Go through twice and thrice, and I'm going to ask case study in this CAT 1 examination. Okay. May God bless you. Have any doubt, you can ask me. Please type your name in the chat box. Based on that only, I am giving the attendance. Thank you. May God bless you, my children.